you later. Okay. Good. Okay.
Not having a rear or a heel thing was a thing I need to remember. Good.
So in this video we're going to talk about what my experiences were with the Sport Glide and the Fatboy, and my opinions on them. So they both seem to be fantastic motorbikes, but I think I couldn't tell which one I would rather own, or more importantly, spend my own money on. What I would say is, first of all, straight away, is that with both of these bikes being brand new, the first thing I would have to do is also factor in the cost of a new exhaust, or a different exhaust. The ones that come with motorbikes straight from Harley dealership or stock exhausts really have muted these motorbikes. The Fatboy probably sounds still a little bit better than the Sport Glide. Partly that may be due to the Sport Glide has the panniers on the back, which may be muting the sound even more to me as the rider, and the Fatboy obviously doesn't have them. But then there's also the value difference. So the Fatboy is around about £22,000, and the Sport Glide is around about £18,000. So there's a good £4,000 difference in price. The Fatboy has the larger engine, the 114 cubic inch, which is about a 1.86 litre engine, and the Sport Glide is a 107 cubic inch, which is about a 1.74 litre engine. But both effectively massive engines, and certainly when revving the Fatboy, the amount of momentum that's still in the engine just from doing little revs is quite spectacular. Both of these bikes, one of the similarities with them is their simple analog dial that they've got. Their handlebars, the ability to get on them straight away, they felt very similar in terms of weight. And I think in weight wise they are very similar. I think wet weight, the Fatboy is about 324 kilograms, and the Sport Glide with the panniers, I think it's with the panniers, is 317. So you're talking about less than a 10 kilogram difference. You never tell that. But yeah, the analog dials, the shape of the tank's probably a little bit bigger on the Fatboy. The suspension is different. However, on the Sport Glide you have more of a screen up front, and the screen I actually noticed having a bit of a difference. In terms of power wise, the Fatboy is around about 94 horsepower. The Sport Glide is 82 horsepower, so you're talking about 12 horsepower difference. And in terms of Newton meters, the Sport Glide is 139 and the Fatboy is 155. So the Fatboy has more horsepower, the larger engine, the more Newton meters, weighs more, costs more, also has footboards as well. So I do like footboards. They didn't have heel gear changes, so it's still using your toes for up and down. But the Sport Glide didn't have footboards, so that's something I'd probably I think I enjoy when you're on a big cruise like this. Footboards, definitely, I quite like that when I was riding, because my bike, the Kawasaki 1500, has footboards, and it was very easy going from my Kawasaki to the Fatboy. And when I went on to the Sport Glide, there was oh, hold on a minute, where's the footboards? And just putting your foot on the peg, you feel it feels less luxury, I think is probably the way to describe it. In terms of the way that they go, they both go like absolute stink. I did have the opinion that the Fatboy was the heavier bike when actually riding. I think the tyres are probably, or the wheel sizes are probably more of an effect on that. I think the Sport Glide has slightly narrower, taller tyres than the Fatboy, and that makes it more nimble, I think, and feel lighter when riding. 10 kilograms, you probably can't tell the difference in actual weight, but with the tire width, I think that's probably where you definitely feel the difference there. Stopping power wise, really good. Both of them, their front brakes and their rear brakes, absolutely no complaints there whatsoever. One thing I did notice with when going down gears on the Sport Glide, much more of an interesting engine whine I'm hearing. Like if I'm absolutely pegging it, and then I come off the accelerator, pulling the clutch, whatever the bits inside the motorbike gear house or something, it's like there's a real mee. You hear it coming down. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe something which I might actually appreciate more, because you can hear the engine a bit more on the coming down. But it's just a difference that I definitely noticed between the two. I didn't hear that on the Fatboy whenever I did any hard accelerating going on that. Unfortunately, this footage that we've got here, the Fatboy was a sunnier time of day, and the Sport Glide is on a slightly cloudier day, but it was a lovely warm day. Both of them, I did get a little bit nervous at traffic lights, thinking that the engine was going to cut out. So my current bike is a bit dodgy in that it could conk out at any moment. And with these, every time we got to the traffic lights, you really heard it start to do its proper Harley Davidson potato. And because the exhausts were so quiet, you really hear just like what just sounds like engine struggling, rather than it having a slower idle. Probably I'm not explaining it quite right. I've probably just had the wrong experience of it. Maybe just need more time behind the saddle of it. But I would love to try both of these bikes again, but with a proper sounding exhaust. The next thing I have is, I thought there might be a bit of the Fatboy is like the big man of the place, and the price wise, yeah, you're talking about £22,000 or £24,000, somewhere around about that. And is that like the king? I think, yeah, there's the breakout and all that kind of stuff, but this is the one that Arnie has in Terminator 2. So the Fatboy is incredible. Like, instantly get on it, you feel cool. The Sport Glide, because it didn't have the footboards, I didn't feel quite as cool, and the screen, I would say, also takes away some of the coolness. But in terms of usability, I felt the Sport Glide was better. So is the danger of the Sport Glide is that it's the cheaper one, it's the smaller engine one, it's less powerful one. The only people that buy that are the people that can't afford a Fatboy. That's what I thought I might feel when doing it. However, the amount of benefits that the Sport Glide has in terms of that screen, the panniers, possibly the engine efficiency for longer tour, the seat as well on the Sport Glide, I thought was a fractionally more comfortable. Although my coccyx on both bikes was sore. I think that's more to do with my body shape than anything else. But on the Sport Glide, my coccyx was suffered less than it did on the Fatboy. Fatboy, I noticed it a little bit more. And I rode the Sport Glide second after the Fatboy, so you think it would be actually more sore going on there. So the question is, in the end, I wouldn't complain about having either of these bikes. If I won the lottery, what bike would I buy? Without a doubt, I'd buy them both. If I'm just going to be doing a quick cruise into town and I just want to show off, I'm going for the Fatboy. If I'm actually going for a longer journey where I may want to bring my wallet, my drone, my change of clothes, I'll take the Sport Glide. In terms of my current riding experience, which is very little, having done any long trips or anything like that, the Fatboy is the one that probably wins for me in terms of, if money's no object, so I said, which one do you want? You can have them, we'll give them to you tomorrow. I would probably go the Fatboy just because of the presence it has on the road. I think, not 100% sure. But in terms of possibly living with a motorbike, owning a motorbike, going to places on a motorbike, then it's probably the Sport Glide that I would go for. Either way, both of them absolutely fantastic bikes. Bins of power, loads of power, No complaints from either of them on that way. But yeah, in terms of probably long-term living with, I'd probably go for the Sport Glide, showing off the Fatboy, and it does. It's just so cool, but needs to have the exhaust. So again, factor in the price. If it's it's about £24,000 for the Fatboy. I'd factor in another £2,000. In fact, factor in a Jekyll and Hyde, which is about £3,000 plus the put on and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, factor on another £2,000-3,000 for exhausts, or even maybe slip-ons might work with these. Yeah, there's no faff with it. They both have cruise control. They didn't have heated grips. That'd be another thing that you might want to get if you're wanting to ride in wintertime. So actually, with the Sport Glide, because you're potentially going to use that more all year round, I would probably want to also invest in getting heated grips on the Sport Glide. So the Sport Glide, I would add in footboards, heated grips, and an exhaust. The Fatboy is definitely just a summer rider, I think, and wouldn't change, and just a new exhaust. That's all I'd probably be looking on for it. So anyway, that's my opinions of the first rides that I've had with them. They're just so cool. I just really want to win the lottery and get both of them, and a garage to be able to house both of them, and a wife that doesn't complain about me having both of them in the garage. We could all dream. Anyway, so here's the carry on watching the rest of the video footage of them side by side. Nothing too interesting. This is just my test rides, but it'll give you an opinion, an idea of the kind of slow speed stuff, the turny stuff, and the accelerating stuff that when it shows. There you go. Bye bye.